I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago.
Hey y'all, welcome to my channel and welcome to another chapter of Adventura the Bus, taking baby steps. Well, today we're going to see Mom in our chapter quite a bit. Mom came to visit again and she's going to hang out with us a little bit and help us get some things done around the bus. First, we're going to address cleanup in the carport area, or my shop area. I guess you could call it my shop because that's where I do most of my work. And then I'm going to build this wall right here, and you're going to see me build that wall. And then you're going to see Mom and I fix the other wall in the back of the bus, the one that I did not cut the tail light out correctly. It's not a whole lot of stuff going on, but we're taking baby steps. Sometimes in a project or in life, just taking baby steps helps us get past things that are hard for us. So I think about the movie What About Bob? If you haven't seen that movie, it's very funny and it's very good because it just talks about how when you're facing something hard, sometimes you just have to take baby steps. So that's what we're talking about this week. We're talking about baby steps and taking baby steps forward. It doesn't seem like we're making a lot of progress, but we're making small progress, and that's progress all the same. So I hope you enjoy the chapter, and thank you for joining us. Clean up the carport. Now this is like the super fast forward version of what we did, and this is my mom and I working together to overcome the mess of the carport. Now this is the kind of wide angle shot, and you can see us making some good progress there and going through everything, and or cleaning and organizing it all. When you see the lights come on like that, that means there's electricity in the area, and that's how I know when I have power to the carport. I have several bins that I keep all my stuff in, and we were sorting through that stuff because I've been having some hard times finding some of the things, and it's best if I just know where everything is and organize it. So here's the slower version of it, and you see us working right there by the saws. We're cleaning up all the scrap lumber and kind of organizing that. I have moved my lumber pile over close to where the saws are, but it's over to the side and out of the way so that I have access to the lumber, but I don't have to have it over far on the other side of the carport. And I like it too because it's more protected from the rain here. I do have a tarp over it so that I can cover it, but this has worked much better for me as to having the wood in this section instead of having it way over on the other side of the carport. I have several smaller bins that have like scrap wood in it, and I'm planning to do something with that scrap wood later on, but I haven't come up with a complete plan of what that looks like. So that's a light that I have that I'm going to probably try and see if I can convert it to 12 volts and use that within the van. I might not leave it on the stand. I'm probably going to hang it on a wall somewhere, but I just have a couple of lights and stuff that I might use in the van and see what I can do to use that. So Mom's working on helping me organize some of the smaller stuff there, and this is where I have my two saws set up. We're just cleaning up around the miter saw there, and next to that, between the miter saw and the wood, is where my table saw is. So I have like a little woodworking area where I do all the cutting, and then I have two other sections over to the left that are one just some storage bins, and the other is and it's got a flat piece of wood that sits on top of those storage bins, and they act kind of like sawhorses. They have a lot of stuff stored in them that are like old parts from the van, mostly wiring. And I don't need to access that as often as I do some of the other stuff. So that particular group of stuff there is all stuff that I don't have to get into very often. And those black bins are really nice because they will fold flat when I don't have them open or I'm not using them. I can fold them flat, and they're super lightweight. So when you're talking about a place that you need to store stuff that's having a convenient place to store them and be sturdy, those bins, those dark plastic bins are really nice for that, because when I'm using them, they're folded out and they're real sturdy, And then when I'm not using them, they fold flat and they're super compact. So those are kind of a nice thing to have when you're in a van, because space and weight is very optimal. And so the least amount of space you can take up, the better. But they're also good, useful storage bins too. So I really want to incorporate those into the bus. Over underneath the wood pile is where I keep my other bins that I have, and those are plastic bins that have they're see-through bins, because I like to I do really well with like visual organization. So this is where I would keep like what I call bits and bytes. Bits and blades, not bits and bytes. Bits and blades, which is all my drill bits and blades that I need for all my tools. And then I have my sanding stuff. I have a bin for paint stuff, and I have a bin for safety gear. And so all that stuff is in that section underneath the wood pile there. And what we're doing is cleaning it up. Later on I'll go through with the blower and blow all the leaves and sawdust out of the way. But right now what we're doing is going through all the bins and organizing them and making sure that we have everything in those bins that it says is supposed to be in those bins. And also taking care of some of the miscellaneous stuff that has been just kind of collecting around the place. My mom likes to make sure that every little piece of trash is picked up. She's really good at that. And you can see how I stack the bins so that I have a nice flat surface to work with. And so now I'll take all the stuff that's on the other sawhorses over close to the wood pile and clean all that stuff up so that I can then have two flat surfaces to work with. And it's good to do this every couple of weeks or so, because things just get out of order, especially when I'm the only person working on the project, because I am just one person and I can only do so much. So sometimes things get a little messy in the middle of the project, but then later on I clean it up, and I'll take usually couple hours before I get started on a big project. When I'm starting something new, I'll usually clean everything up, and then I'll go back to trying to keep it as neat as possible. But things do just get left behind sometimes. Okay, so we're moving on to the next project, and this is baby steps. So the first step was to clean, and the second step is to cut some wood so that I've already framed out that I didn't for some reason catch the actual build of the frame out. I don't remember why I didn't do that. Sometimes my cameras have not been cooperating with me, or my batteries have been running out too quickly. I did get a second battery for my new camera, so I have a little bit more expansion on those batteries now. So basically what you're seeing me do is cut out the wall that I made a pattern for, and this is the wall for just inside the door to the left of the door, to the left of the stairs. So right now you see me putting insulation in that wall, and then you'll see me covering it with wood. And so this wall was just a wall to kind of hide the pocket door, but not just to hide the pocket door, but to give me a nice wall to have a nice beautiful place to come in the door and have a nice presentation that you're walking into a home versus that.
Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. Guess what? Mom's back. We're going to work on this wall right here. I cut it out wrong, and since I did a bad job on cutting out my one thing in the front, it's perfect to take the place of this piece right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to fix the one edge right here that is not quite right. We're going to put some cardboard over the top of that, and then what we're going to do, and once we got the cardboard figured out on this one edge over here to make it fit better, then we're going to take it outside, trace it on the big piece that we have over on the other side, and then we're going to cut it out. And after we cut it out, we'll figure out exactly where that particular hole is there. This is part of why we're doing it. The one hole down here on the bottom of the wall is not in the right spot. It's too far to the one side, and so I miscut the hole. So this one is going to end up probably becoming one of the cabinet edges and stuff like that, and the other one's going to become the replacement wall for here. Okay. So we're going to finish taking down the screws and stuff after we get our cardboard template edge there fixed out, and then once that's done, we'll start on the wall, and we'll get that done. So Mom's going to help me with that, and that's what we're doing today.
Okay, part 3 of our baby steps forward. This is me working on the back wall with Mom again. Mom came another day. So this is actually another day that she came by. This is not the same day that we'd cleaned the carport. So we had like the cleaning carport day, and then I worked on the wall day, and now we're working on the second wall day. And this wall is getting redone partially because I had cut one of the pieces for the front walls in the wrong direction. And I put the wrong side of the wood out and cut it. I cut the wall perfectly, but then I cut it on the wrong side of the wood. So I did a reverse direction on this. But that particular piece of wood was about the right size to make the fix for this particular wall. When I first made this wall here, I kind of just assumed something, which we know assuming doesn't do you really well. So I didn't measure twice and cut once. I cut once and measured once, and then found out I completely missed the whole thing. So I missed the lining up of the tail light section. So it was just too off, and I didn't like the way it looked, so I wanted to correct it. And that's what we're doing here. Is we made a paper pattern at first. We took the old wall and some cardboard and did a better job of making the pattern for this particular section. And then we went out and cut it out of the piece of wood that we had from the other wall, and we fit it into this spot. And it worked out much better. And now I have the taillight hole cut out correctly, and it all looks really good. What you see us there is we're working on remounting that piece now that we have the new piece cut out, and we're also working on cutting out that hole and making sure that it's in the right spot. And this time I measured about 3 times and then cut once. So I learned the lesson from the first time that you have to take the time to measure and get it right. And don't just figure that it's going to be the same as the other wall, because it's probably not. And so just go ahead and do the work and get it done right, and it'll look better. And it did. It looks a lot better, and things are lining up nicely, and it looks like pristine now. And I'm very happy that we went back and corrected that. And you're going to see us finish mounting up this wall. And then my mom's going to help us. My mom and I are both going to work together to put the wall back up, the side wall back up. And this is why I use screws on everything, because I wanted to be able to take it off and put it down if I had to make an adjustment on something. And pretty soon, I'm hoping... Oh, and this is part 3 of Baby Steps Forward. So what we're doing here is we're working on a special addition to the steps. So I didn't like the metal rails that were in the bus. They're wonderful and they're nice, but they're not pretty. And they take up a lot of space, and I wanted to put in something for safety for people who need to have a little assistance getting in the van. I bought these little stair railings a long time ago. I bought them probably 5 years ago, and I've had them in my studio for about 5 years. Keep saying, oh, I need to use these for a piece of furniture or something. And I finally came out with an idea of how to use them. And so I made this small little handrail here, and I custom built it for the bus. And I made it out of those, and they're made out of oak, and I only paid them $2 a piece for them. So I got a really good deal on them. And then I had another piece of oak that I was able to use for the handrail itself, and it was the perfect size. And I'm going to bring you here and let you get up close and personal with it, because I wanted to tell you about what I did to make sure that the wood would line up with the hole. And what I did is I marked a piece of tape, and I would put that across the piece of wood, and I would kind of use something to center punch it, and then I would go through and drill a countersink hole for it so that I could run a screw into that piece of wood and then run the railing in. And I did it at an angle so that it would be at the right angle for the actual railing. And I went in and checked the work, and it worked out really good doing this method. So what I had was a piece of packaging tape with like a little X to mark the center of where the little post would be. And then I would mark the railing with that piece of tape, and I'd get it perfectly centered every time. And that was really a good idea. I kind of got that off of a TikTok or something from woodworking people on TikTok, and it worked so good. You can see the cabin in the background. That's a nice shot of the cabin, by the way. Uh, that's where I get to live every day. It's a really blessing to be able to be in this place. So that's basically what I'm doing. I'm marking, countersinking, hole punching, or what is it called? Center punching the hole so that I have a place for the drill to line up with, and then drilling and countersinking these holes. I did kind of cheat and use my Kreg jig to do that, my drill for the Kreg jig, because it did the countersinking for the holes really good. And so I used that bit for it, but it worked really good. And I just kept doing it and cut the railing, drill the hole, center punch, drill the hole, repeat, and then later on you'll see me actually putting it all together. And this has been a cute little project, and very happy with the results once again. It just was an idea that came up in my mind, and I said, I'm going to execute it. Here is where I'm actually drilling into the actual bus itself so that I can secure the railings to the bus itself, so it'll be good and secure and it won't flop around on somebody when they're trying to get in. And later on, which I did not get on camera, is I actually do secure the top part against the side of the bus there, so that it really held up super well. And I got 90% of this on film. I did not get every single little last detail of it, but I broke about 4 drill bits in this section here, and it was kind of a little frustrating. It was like four drill bits and one or two screws. So it took a minute for me to get this to get settled on here, and then I finally did get it down and got it secured, but it was a lot of work to get it there, and I got a little frustrated at one point because I had broken so many drill bits, and it was a little bit frustrating. So but it did get done, and that was once again baby steps to moving forward, and definitely came out with a good end result on it at the end. And it looks really nice in the front of the bus now. So it's another nice little accent that I have in the bus that's going to make it look really nice and give it some style. And I'm thinking about other things to do in the future to just give the bus a little bit more panache, I guess you could say. Trying to think about if I want to do wood stain or if I want to do paint. And I'm thinking about different options, and I don't want to go too over the top, but I also don't want to make it so boring where it's black, beige, tan, or brown or something like that. I want style in the bus, and I don't want it to look just like a typical camper. I want it to have some heart and some art to it, and create a home in there that makes people want to come in there and be in it and be in a part of it, and to be able to socialize and such, and have people over and play games or whatever. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I want to be able to hang out with people on my bus, and I want it to be a hangout spot, but I also want it to be my home, and to be a temporary home where I can store my stuff and not have to constantly put it all in closets. I've had an Airbnb for 5 years. I'm going on 5 years now, and I really like doing the Airbnb, but when I have to vacate the house, I don't have any place to put my stuff other than locking them up in closets. And I want a personalized space, and that's what I'm kind of partially building this house for, is to have a little personalized space. But I also have a granddaughter in Texas, so you can see the fast-forward version of the whole build here, and it came together quite nicely. I just want to
take a moment and thank you for sticking all the way through to the end of the video. As you can see, sometimes when we do something, we might have to go back and do it again. But doing it again makes it better, and it makes it right. And sometimes you feel like you're making a small progress, but you're making more progress than you realize. And so now this whole wall has been repaired and fixed, and it looks so much better. And the taillight section is all corrected now. We're going to be moving on to more things like walls and ceilings next week. We're going to address the ceiling in the front of the bus, and we're going to just be doing some cool projects. I think I'm going to get to finish up the front cabinet, front of the bus, So we'll see what we end up featuring next week. But this week has been baby steps. Sometimes we got to clean first, sometimes we got to build a wall, and sometimes we got to repair a wall. So everything's coming together a little bit at a time. So we just took some baby steps this week. I'd like to thank you for stopping by and watching us all the way through. Take time to like, subscribe, and share this video with somebody who might benefit from it. Thank you for stopping by, and y'all come back now.
Thank you all for taking time to stop by. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Y'all come back now.
Some things are not the same as they were